the new Tri Hot Square to Square putter from Odyssey. They made a zero torque putter that looks incredibly normal. I'm excited to talk about it and get some first impressions from out on the golf course. Let's dive right in. All right, why did I choose the Rossi version? In the original Square to Square, I tried the 7 shape. They have the 7 shape in these new Tri Hot Square to Squares. They have the Jailbird. They have this Rossi option. They have the Jailbird Cruiser as well. I went with the Rossi, was looking for something that was kind of that smaller footprint, and I wanted to compare it extensively to the Oz.1i from LAB Golf. That's why I particularly chose the Rossi model. From when I first took it out of the box, I really liked it. The color was striking, the red and black. I know there's divided opinions on that. I personally liked it, and the craftsmanship on this putter was very high. I really liked the look of it. You could tell that it was very quality, and it should be for this insanely high price. But let's talk about some of the specific details of it, and I'm going to extensively compare it to the Oz.1i. The first thing I'll just talk about real briefly is the head cover. Head cover just gets a C+ from me, I would say. It's unashamedly branded there inside. #1 putter on tour. Has a magnetic closure, kind of a soft sheepskin type interior. I could see this actually wearing out pretty quick in that area and having some issues down the road. But hey, it's just a head cover. You can get a different one. Let's just talk about the various details, starting from the grip all the way down to the club head. They are calling this a mid-sized pistol grip. From when I put it in my hands at first, I would say it's like a mid-size plus. It feels a little bit bigger than mid-sized, I would say. And one thing that's really striking, and they meant to do this, is you can really tell the sharp angular edges. It is distinct the way this feels in the hand. And something that stuck out to me also, they have this back. It's almost like a reminder line. That's where the seam of the grip is. But you can tell, you can feel that on the back side of the grip. That did stick out to me. All right, so that covers the grip. As far as the shaft, they have an SL120 stepless black shaft here. I like the look of it. I personally really like a stepless putter shaft. It's a much smaller graphic, that original SL90 shaft on the original Square to Squares, kind of a huge sticker. I really, really like this understated sticker on it, and I like the stepless black look. It is about 30 grams heavier than that SL90. It's supposed to be more stability, maybe feel a little stiffer, but there is a little difference in what they have on this versus the original Square to Square putters. This shaft, 0 shaft lean. They eliminated shaft lean with this. That is pretty unique to most of the zero torque putters that are out there. We talked about the grip briefly. We talked about the shaft that they have on this. Let's go down to the putter head, where they packed as much technology as possible into this putter. And you'll see this red portion. This is all aluminum. Aluminum is a lot lighter than steel. They even machined out some of this area here in that aluminum to save as much weight as possible. And they pushed all of that saved weight into a tungsten plate that sits under a steel chassis. And I'll put a breakdown here of these different components. About 140 grams in that tungsten plate. So 80% of the putter's weight sits under the top line, which is way more than traditional putters. Also, they have a 2-piece insert. There's an inner firm layer and an outer softer layer, and they're calling it AI Dual. You'll see it extends all the way down to the bottom of the putter. They made this with pretty deep grooves. They're calling it forward roll design, designed to increase forgiveness when you're hitting it outside of the sweet spot and to help with that forward roll. FRD, forward roll design. You can see the crosshair alignment mark. I personally like it. I know there's strong opinions on the color, the black, the red. I personally liked it. It's pretty striking in the outdoor light. All right, we talked about some of the different tech that is in this Odyssey Tri Hot Square to Square putter. Let's compare it to the Oz.1i a little bit. I think one of the things you'll notice right away is on the Odyssey model, how much reduced onset there is. This shaft is a lot closer to the putter face versus the forward shaft lean design of this Oz.1i. You do have different alignment options with the LAB Golf putters. I will say there is customization available as far as lie angles on the Square to Square Tri Hots. This is coming standard 72-degree lie angle. So that's a little more upright than what you normally see. Usually you see 69 or 70 degrees for a standard lie angle. Now, with the Odyssey putters, you can go all the way up to 3 degrees flat or 3 degrees upright. So you're going to be able to get these all the way up to 75-degree lie angle and all the way down to 69-degree lie angle. So you do have options with the Odyssey Tri Hot Square to Square as far as lie angles go. I think the other thing is the look of this. The Odyssey, this looks a lot more normal. I know the Oz.1i was probably LAB Golf's most normal looking putter as far as their putters go, but it still was pretty unique. Those sharp angular edges. This has a much more standard traditional look to it. So if you're into that sort of thing and you don't like the forward shaft lean, this is probably going to be something that appeals to your eye. Let's get a good look at the size. I know I have these right next to each other, but I got a little cardboard cutout here. Let's set the Rossi on that. I got this cardboard cutout here. I did a trace chalk line around it. That's how I got this here. But let's place the Rossi right on that and see how it compares. Heel to toe, very similar to the Oz.1i. You're going to see space savings back in this area. This kind of half moon shape on the Rossi. A lot more standard, a lot more traditional. Doesn't look goofy as a lot of the LAB golf putters do. But there is your size comparison between the Rossi Square to Square Tri Hot and the LAB Golf Oz.1i. The other thing I'll mention on this is their total weight profile. I personally like to know how much the putter weighs in totality. This is just a stock 34-inch version from Odyssey. This came in at 552 grams. This Oz.1i is a stock steel shaft. It's 33 inches, so an inch shorter than the Odyssey that I have. But this is their heavy version, and this came in at 557 grams, so only 5 grams heavier than the Odyssey that I have here in this Tri Hot Square to Square. So both a very similar weight profile. And that was interesting to me. As far as zero torque goes, I know we've all seen that revealer contraption that LAB Golf has where they put different putters in there, swing it back and forth, and you can see it staying perfectly square. Is that real? Yes, absolutely. But here's the problem. Nobody holds the putter like that. As soon as you put the putter in your hands, you're basically putting some torque on the putter. Is the science real? I would say yes, it is. Does it help it stay square? Yes. Is it the absolute magic elixir? No. There's no magic bullet with putting. Are there putters that can help you putt better? Yes. For everyone, that's going to be different, though, on what that putter is. All right, so that wraps up the details on the Tri Hot Rossi version. I wanted to take my time and be thorough on this. I don't want to waste any time getting it out to the golf course. I want to hit some mid-range putts, some long putts, some short putts, see what sticks out to me performance-wise, especially compared to the Oz.1i. I think the biggest takeaway from talking about it this evening here in the outdoor light, the craftsmanship on it is high. The look of it is very striking. The red and black color, it pops. I really like it. But the biggest takeaway is sticker shock. These things are just insanely expensive, $550. The Jailbird Cruiser option is $600. It's just outrageous. But let's see what happens. Let's take this out to the golf course and see what the first impressions are. So here they are side by side out in the sunlight. Now, I do have the forward shaft lean on the Oz.1i. You can get those with zero shaft lean now. These new Tri Hot Square to Squares, they have eliminated the forward shaft lean. So it's a lot more like a standard putter. You can use whatever grip you want on it. A lot of the LAB golf putters have those press grips with that built-in press forward. All right, let's hit a few here from about 8 feet. Oz.1i, the Square to Square Tri Hot Rossi. Just some 8-footers here. Let's just hit a few side by side here. Good feel off the face. I think they've really struck a very good balance with the feel. This is a steel insert versus the urethane insert on the Rossi. So definitely different. Inserts going to create a very different feel. It's going to be preference. There's really no wrong answer. All right. So the insert sticks out to me. They really struck a very good balance. We'll hit some longer putts here as well. Feels much better than the AI1. The balance of these two putters, they both feel really good. I will say Odyssey purposely, as we talked about at the house, talking about this in detail, they shoved as much weight as they could forward. And I actually think that that's noticeable. I mean, I almost feel like I'm tilting over. That's extreme, but you can tell that the majority of the weight is at the front of the putter here, and that's how they were able to get the shaft so much closer to the club face. Let's hit some longer putts. Longer ones here, probably 30 feet or so. Just a really nice feel off the face. Another one smoothly rolling. They got a winner. All right. That does feel good off the face. Let's see what it's like compared here to the LAB. Yeah, I mean, They both are really nice, and they should be for the price they are. Excellent feeling insert, and that had minimal skipping and hopping right off the face. That felt really, really good. Yeah, it's just, I'm very impressed with this. Okay, I caught that a little thin. The feel was different. I could tell that it felt just a little harsher. That was a pretty bad miss hit. I still got pretty good rollout on it. I like the alignment line. Crosshairs looks good. Another miss hit. That was more out toward the heel, and that got excellent forward roll, and it almost went in. So very impressed with the forgiveness on this from distance. All right, just a few shorter putts here. See what we got going on. Feels very stable on those longer putts. Loved the feel off the face. It wasn't clicky, wasn't plasticky, just a real pure feel. Feels very stable. You can tell the weight is pushed forward. You can notice that. You may think that's just engineering gobbledygook, but you can really tell that that weight's at the front of this putter. Will it help you make more putts? Maybe. Let's see what we got. So a different look looking down at the Oz.1i. So a few areas that stick out to me with the initial on-course testing. The insert, I really like it. I think they really nailed it here. It's not plasticky, it's not clicky, it's not marshmallow stuff, just a really good balance. It reminds me a lot, I had a dual force Odyssey putter when I was a teenager. Really reminds me of the feel of that insert, which I really, really liked. Obviously a very different sensory and auditory experience compared to the stainless steel insert on the Oz.1i. Second area, in the area of the balance and the weight of it. Both of these feel really good. I think Odyssey did a good job with the balance of this. You will tell a little bit of difference in your hands when you get it in your hands, and that's because they push so much weight forward on this, but it does give you a much more standard traditional look compared to the forward shaft lean on a lot of the LAB Golf putters. Third area, in the area of forgiveness and the quality of the roll. That's one of the things I've really liked about all the LAB Golf putters, just a pure roll. I'd put this right there with it. Very impressed with the quality of the roll, had minimal hopping, minimal skipping. And then on a couple of those longer putts, I really thinned one and I really hit one off the heel. They still rolled out pretty good. Was very impressed by that. So I think the feel and forgiveness is right there with the Oz.1i. What's the verdict right now? I think the reason I'm going to give this more of a chance to stay in the bag, I like the look of it just a little bit more. A little more traditional looking, a little smaller footprint. I like how it looks behind the ball. So I'm going to see what happens in the coming weeks, but I'm going to give it a chance to stay in the bag. It was a great first impression. Hey, this is just raw dandy golf. No bold outlandish claims, no gimmicks. No one is sending me their stuff for free. I'm doing this on my own dime, on my own time. I've been putting out golf content for a while. Someone that really enjoys golf just like you. I'd greatly appreciate it if you tap subscribe and join me on the journey. Thanks for taking the time to watch.